Adding text to your videos is a great way to make those videos really stand out. But if you've ever tried it, you may know that sometimes the text can kind of get lost over the background or it doesn't really look that great. Today, we're going to talk about my tips for making text look really sharp over a video background. I'm Jenn Jager, Creative Director at Plum Productions Professional Video Services, educator here at My Video 101. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you never miss my great video marketing content that I make for you guys. So let's get back to how we make that text really stand out over your video background. I've got some great tips. My first tip for you is to plan ahead. If you think of it while you're shooting, create negative space in the frame where you know you can add that text easily. So I know it takes a little bit of forethought to think about that on the shoot with all the millions of things you're already thinking about, but trust me, it'll make your life so much easier in the end. My second tip for you is to use large blocky fonts. Remember, most people are going to be watching your videos on their cell phones, so you want to make sure that text is big and clear. I would also advise you to stay away from skinny fonts. They can really get lost over a background, and anything scripted never really looks good. In my experience, large blocky fonts are pretty much always the way to go. My next tip for you is to use as few words as possible. This is not the time for flowery writing. You want to use as few words as possible so that you can make them really big on the screen. Just pick a couple really important punch words. And if you have a lot of text, maybe you can go to 2 lines on the text, but anything above that is too much. Keep it simple and use as few words as possible. Tip number 4 is to leave that text on the screen longer than you think is necessary. You already know what the text says because you wrote it, but the viewer is just seeing it for the first time. So leave it on longer so they have time to read it and process it. This is an instance where a second set of eyes can really be helpful in helping you gauge how long that text should be on screen. Now, if you're laying text over a really busy video background, there's some few things you can do to the actual video to help make that text stand out. You can try blurring that video a little bit so that the text looks really sharp, or you can darken the background if you have lighter text, or lighten up the background if you have darker text. The goal here is to create contrast between that text and the background. My next tip is to choose the right color. White or black are always a classic look, but if you want to be a little more creative, look inside the frame of your video and pick a color that can really accent your text. My last tip for you is to only use text sparingly throughout the course of your video. Remember, the text is there to punctuate salient points in that video. So if you add text for everything, the most important messages will get lost. If you thought this video was helpful, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ring that bell, and I'll be back next week with more tips to help you level up your video marketing game. Thanks.